Project Dragon headline looking over who's speaking at VeeCon. The timeline sentiment shifting, or is it? Welcome to another edition of XFeed. My name is The Schiller. Monday through Friday at random parts throughout the day, we go live at least once, typically, usually. Don't please don't yell at me if I don't. But we talk about the markets because that's what we do. Because we still hold all the NFTs from way back in the day. Rami saying, getting a vibe from the fire hose that is the timeline, thinking sentiment might slowly shift towards NFTs in the next quarter. Now, the question was always about what kind of form of NFTs, what way are we going to see the market pick back up? I think most people that were in the space, obviously we saw different downtrends, uptrends regarding that market, but ultimately everybody was like, yeah, the tech is here to stay. Whale.mocha, the ratios between the main and second collections of NFT projects are interesting. Jumping on down here, they made a great chart that goes over all the collections and their second collection. Wag me, Divine Hypnotone, good afternoon. And if I can recall correctly, I think Bored Apes were the first ones, unless it was CryptoPunks and Meebits. What came first, Meebits or CryptoPunks? That is the question. And do we consider Meebits the secondary collection to CryptoPunks? Yeah, that seems obvious when I say that out loud. But anywho, Pudgy Penguins here, they have the Lil Pudgies and then the Rods as well. But that's technically a third collection. But a discrepancy of 12.5 per 12.5x of a difference. Kind of insane. The Mutant Ape Yacht Clubs comparatively to the Bored Ape Yacht Club ones, just about a 6x difference. Kind of crazy when you just look at all these overall. I think the question kind of stems, why is there a second collection for some of these? The arguments that we made back in the day, and obviously this is kind of in the moment, but it was the aspect of, hey, there is an opportunity for people that maybe can't afford these higher priced NFTs to be able to be a part of this community that we're all a part of in Atari. Shout out to you joining the Doodles community the other day. Love to see it. Could have bought like 8 to 10 fluffs, but hey, you know, listen, I respect the vibes and the Viking and the satchel, my friggin' man. Yo, good morning, good morning. Anywho, back to the point here again, just interesting kind of food for thought again. Why do these collections have secondary ones? Is there a reason for it? Izuki's probably the one that's got the most dramatic kind of change with it because everybody thought the Beans was the second collection that they had, but then they dropped the elementals and said, guess what? That's the second collection, and that is what I called tough. Mocaverse, over 41,000 users have created their houses in Mocha Dynasty. Are you ready to take it to the next level with another token? Block Lords here. It's an ERC20 utility token that fuels growth and empowers the Block Lords community. Crafted for long-term sustainability and value. Very interesting that we're kind of just going out there saying, hey, yeah, these are all about the values. Hey, these are the things you want to throw your money on, yada, yada, yada. 100 million supply for this, 31% to investors. That seems kind of crazy, unless they're referring to like marketing holders, 36% for the community. Very interesting when you really get into the weeds of different NFT collections that then later on launch a token. Some of them, they're like, that looks kind of cool. Other ones, yeah, it seems a little bit kind of terrifying. But at the same time, we see every friggin' game having a token. Is that good? Is that wrong? I mean, when you think about typically any kind of game out there, they have some kind of an ecosystem or money system within it, right? World of Warcraft, I'm pretty sure it's gold. RuneScape, it's GP. You go down the list and everyone's got it. But does it need to be tradable? Does it need to be all these other things? Does it need to be on the blockchain? Well, I guess if all the tech's getting hidden, all these games are just launching on the blockchain, the question really just becomes, what does the future look like for it? Now, I'm not going to play this video, but Pluid put out this thing with DC Roth, great video artist, who was going over Animoca's Mocaverse, and the title for it was Cautiously Bullish. And I was surprised because I watched a little bit of this, and he was pretty concerned about the aspect of what we saw with the ApeCoin down, how Animoca really just kind of took over all of the votes for it, and really the monopoly that it is, as we've seen. Animoca, again, portfolio of like 500 plus different companies. How many of them are in the Web3 space, right? There's not that many companies. Animoca seems to have their paws in everything. Is that a bad thing? Maybe not, but there has been some things where it's like, maybe not the greatest. Matt Roth here, not to be confused with DC Roth, saying Top Shot and NFL all All Day had a combined 676 unique buyers over the last 24 hours. How can NFL All Day continue to operate with just over 100 people using it? Now, this feels kind of weird because it's the off season. How active are the markets within that? Obviously, we see a pretty decent downtrend similar to old school RuneScape. Back in the day, when it was around Christmas time, the Santa hat item went crazy and then it came crashing down after. I don't think this is a great point to look at per se. Obviously, there's a ton of funding. If they have, even a couple hundred buyers per day, that's really not that bad. So curious, because I still do see people kind of flooding the whole Top Shot idea on the timeline. The only thing that I think could be a problem, William, good morning, is the aspect of if they ever lose that NBA licensing and it just kind of exists, but it doesn't matter anymore, right? Where if we can use the example of the MLB when they launched on Wax, I think those packs are still there, but I don't know if anybody is purchasing them or what. Could we actually find that out right quick? MLB Topps Wax. Explorer Collection Topps. Oh, hold on. We're cooking good looking or something like that, right? Okay, so $27,000. Yo, squeeze me. What the hell? So total volume for it has been about $2 million. Somebody bought something the other day for $72. Okay, so listen, it's not completely dead, but it's still out here. Some of these packs, collections, etc. If we go, I'm assuming this is just like the pack as a whole. There's a supply of 50,000 of them. The lowest listing is $11. I mean, okay, that's interesting that it still exists. That being said, let's switch up topics here from sports over to the Monster Hunters, all that. It's funny looking at this because I made the argument yesterday of, okay, why is everybody going towards these monster battlers? And Kieran posting this image of Luvium. And sure, okay, we can kind of say, all right, maybe that's Bulbasaur. Maybe this is, like the Charizard rendition, the water Pokemon, whatever else. But I feel like it's different. I want to almost take back my comment where we can see different IP succeed within that realm, but it does feel at the same time there is a lot within the Web3 area. And I think Illuvium, if it's not today, it might be tomorrow where Illuvium has its kind of official broad launch for the world. So again, as the notions keep saying, oh, we just need one game to pop off, then the speculation goes crazy, etc. We'll see if Illuvium can bring that attention. Breaking, VanEck uses Pudgy Penguins in ad for new ETH ETF. If you haven't seen it, let's go.
Let there be an open source network where money flows more transparently. Let there be transactions without resource intensive mining activities. Let there be tech that can unchain. Your code is the key. Let Ether be. Enter the Ether with ETHV. You can now get Ether exposure for 0 fees with the VanEck Ethereum ETF. An investment in the trust involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The trust is not an investment company registered under the Investment Company Act of 1940 or a commodity pool for the purposes of the Commodity Exchange Act, and thus offers fewer investor protection.
Okay, all right. We got, listen, terms, disclosure, not financial advice, all that stuff. The ad was cute. You like it? Hell yeah. And it's interesting because, when we just sit back and think about it, what could VanEck do to put out an ad to acquire the attention of, the Web3 crowd? Well, I suppose this. Now, the triple argument for this would be, okay, half of the people that are familiar with this would just self-custody, wouldn't they? So why would we be going for the Pudgy Penguin branding for it if those individuals the ad is targeted for is already self-custody? Well, I think arguably the Pudgy Penguin brand fits quite well for, the mainstream audience. Clearly, they've had success within that. So I think it's a very interesting choice and also kind of just aligns things more with showing VanEck is paying attention to what's going on in the space. AIFA Arenas just dropped. No way. What? Hold on a second. What are you talking about? No freaking way. Oh my God, you're not lying. AIFA Arenas are here. We are thrilled to unveil the AIFA Arenas, a collection of unique 3D stadiums inspired by the families and bosses of the ASM AIFA All-Stars. These arenas are now in the hands of the All-Star boss owners. The Artificial Intelligence Football Association, AIFA, is an upcoming football game from Futureverse and ASM, the leading protocol for non-fungible intelligence. Matches will take place in these arenas or use yours anywhere in the open metaverse. To all boss holders, you now have ownership of these exclusive arenas. We've taken a snapshot and distributed arenas accordingly. To view, simply log in or create a future pass with the same EOA address that holds your boss and head to the Stuff tab. But that's not all. These arenas are tradable on marketplaces and contribute to your future score. This is just the beginning of the exciting ASM updates we have in store this week. Stay tuned for more. Oh my God, guys, where the hell is Cole? He might be banned from the Discord, but this man is freaking out IRL right now. What a decent update. Okay, cool. So we got things cooking with this. I don't know. I need to reread it, but I'm a little confused about the aspect that people are going to play in this, but they can play it anywhere in like the world. Is this supposed to be something that goes back to like if people are playing on these arenas, right? For anybody that's played AI League, is this basically in reference to something completely different than AI League? Is this saying these are also going to be kind of popping up in AI League and there's some kind of connection? Obviously, we're going a little bit further in there, but still, let's go. Very exciting to see, and yeah, awaiting more updates on that front. Nice. Luca also commenting on the VanEck thing, just saying Pudgy Penguins is crypto's mascot. Also kind of another just kind of notion to the whole space as a whole, not necessarily just the NFT side of things. Now, we're talking a little bit about Pudgies. Let's go over to BAYC for a second because we got some opinions out on the timeline. Lior, who owns one of the trippy mega mutants, saying there was a time where BAYC PFPs on crypto Twitter were considered goated. Well, listen. Come on, we're trying here. ETH-aligned accounts, technical folks with deep thoughts, etc. A lot of that mind share is transferred to Pudgy Penguins, VanEck devs, crypto VCs, etc. With BAYC now considered cringe by many, would love to see the community and perhaps Yuga realign on comms plus key messaging that a BYC PFP stands for. Innovation, culture, and novel paradigms come to mind. Ape Chain is nice, but frankly, we need better comms as a community. Uncringing the BAYC PFP is probably the most important thing holders can do for long-term success, in my honest opinion. Now, I mean, I would make the argument there's a lot of just like side things that happen that like collectively change like mindset, right? Like typically it's not like an individual thing overall. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's interesting trying to say like, okay, if you have a PFP avatar of an ape, you're innovative, culturally inclined, and you're part of the novel paradigms that happen. I mean, I don't know if it goes that deep, right? Like if I see one of you guys with a PFP, I'm like, oh, there's Crypto, okay, there's Atari, there's William, and he's got a pear tree. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't really have some kind of extra thoughts. I think before when like the space didn't have the saturation that it does, it was a different kind of viewpoint, right? When you saw people that had whatever collection, let's just use what would be like a good one here. CryptoPunks early on, I was like, okay, that person is technically savvy and has a ton of money, right? Or they were early to the space. And so like those narratives I totally get, but it feels like there's no way to verify anymore. And like the old narratives die hard, like, I guess is the way that I would put it. Okay, so what the hell is going on with the other side? Garga was on a space talking about it, guys. Why did we never get any updates on this stuff? What the hell is going on? Here's what Garga had to say.
What happened with the other side during the year that followed the second trip? Why did it took so long actually to go back to the other side?
That was a very big frustration for me personally, and was one of the big things driving my desire to jump back into the CEO spot. I think as much as you can try to bring in experts at certain domains to help lead the way, what I found is that any feeling of imposter syndrome that I might have had of, oh, do I really know what's best for this ecosystem or what people want? Maybe I should defer to these other experts who have really strong opinions on what we should build and how we should build. And what I found, I prefer to rely on my own instincts. And that's what the last several months have been about, aligning the team around a new vision for Otherside where we're shipping constantly one of the tricky things for me personally over the past couple of years, when we did that massive valuation raise, we were less than 30 people or something like that. So I obviously knew everything that was going on in the company up to that moment. But as a company scales and different people are bringing them in, it's the weirdest thing to say, but there were times in the past couple of years where I didn't know and couldn't know or wasn't being told certain things that were going on within my own company, and that was really frustrating for me. That's not happening anymore, and that took a lot of rebuilding the team and reorganizing ourselves to make sure that we're organizing around the right things. And so I don't want to like lay blame or anything like that, but I can say that yes, the vision for Otherside that we're embarking on right now, it's something I wanted to do a year ago. I was close to doing a year ago and then got off track. And now we're in a position where not only are we going to be shipping content and creative for folks like literally once a month, but also putting tools in the hands of folks very quickly soon after, so that not only are we creating content, but a group of alpha testers that will keep growing will be creating content for others to experience too. I couldn't be more excited, honestly.
30 people for like how much did they raise? I'm actually totally forgetting. Yugo Labs big raise. Do we just type that in? 450 million was the raise for less than 30 people, if I remember him correctly saying that. Kind of nuts. Also talking about the fact that they're going to be doing something monthly. Very, very interesting, going off his own instincts, yada, yada, yada. There was one other point that I wanted to bring up, but I forget what in the hell it was. Okay, I'll move on from that. Atari, I could sell my doodles and buy 3 fluffs for the profit, by the way, but I'm not selling. I'll make sure to stream from TIFF in September. Hell yeah. Welcome to Canada. And no, I'm just bugging you on that front, sir. Do not sell your doodle. Do not sell the doodle you've just achieved. The spot Ethereum ETF has hit 200 million in trading volume in the first 45 minutes. More updates on how much that ETH ETF has done, but not to get anybody hoped up. But yeah, it's done like basically absolutely nothing for the chart. But we highlighted the other day here on XFeed that people were saying, hey, that kind of was the same thing with Bitcoin. Not much happened, and then things started to move. Miss Gecko put out her calendar for stuff regarding the Web3 space. And I just wanted to bring this up because I think there's still a decent amount of people that don't use X. Not saying you have to by any means whatsoever, but if you are somebody who's exclusive here on Twitch or YouTube, thank you so much for being a part of this. But it is interesting to see the mass amount of spaces, the content that's getting driven from every different ecosystem. There's NFTs, there's meme coins, the whole 9 yards within this. And this is just one person's interest of what they have within the space. And you can see like on Tuesday, as an example, there's like 5 different things that are going on. So kind of crazy. But again, if you are really trying to immerse yourself within the Web3 realm, finding yourself the next account might be worthwhile, might not. So we started off the stream, we talked about how NFTs are going to be potentially different this cycle. At least that's what the narrative was. And Collector Crypt, who I've interviewed on the RWA Segments podcast, if you want to hear me talk about RWAs and interview some masterminds, links down in the description below, or if you check out my X bio. But there was a PSA 9 base set Shadowless Charizard that sold for 24 Solana, otherwise $4,200. And so the question really is, do we see more of these RWAs starting to take some of the headlines away? Because before it was, oh my God, there was this, Grail Bored Ape that sold, or Grail Doodle, or Grail Clone X, whatever the hell it be. Now I'm starting to see stuff regarding RWAs up on the timeline. Kind of interesting. Abstract, the new chain here coming out of Pudgy Penguins and some others. Introducing Abstract, a blockchain for consumer crypto. Through Igloo, Founders Fund, Fenbushy, 1KX Network, and others will contribute towards bringing the next generation of crypto users on chain. So how do we participate? The opportunity. Consumer crypto is the breakthrough opportunity to bring billions of people on chain. The dominant consumer crypto chain will be the single greatest distribution channel, bringing users, liquidity, and community to crypto, native builders, and global brands. Why Abstract? The Abstract Foundation plans on building Abstract to be dominant consumer crypto chain. Through a combination of culture and community building and dedicated builder and brand support, Abstract will allow those building for billions to scale and flourish. Community and culture. Community and culture are the driving forces behind any successful project, and no other industry or builders and community as intertwined and aligned. We are bringing the best community to Abstract to set the standard for on-chain culture. Again, as we're kind of going through this, do you think, okay, like this is kind of cool, or is this buzzwords, right? It's all personal thoughts. Builders are the lifeblood of Abstract. By offering marketing support, user and builder incentives, connections to partners, and focused technical assistance, we will help builders create amazing products and achieve mass distribution. As we're seeing with all these chains, all the ones that are before, coming out, et cetera, there is a ton of opportunities if you're a builder to get funding and support. Like, actually insane. This whole NFT Web3 thing, I really think can have a massive boom. Moving to future, floppy disk is relevant again. Hell yeah, brother. Users deserve better designed products, and builders deserve the building blocks to create them. That's why we will launch the Abstract Builder Incubator, but more on that soon. Abstract will use cutting-edge ZK technology from ZK Sync and Egan Layer, I'm guessing. Egan DA is an AVS on Egan Layer, providing low-cost hyperscale data availability to rollups. To provide cheap, fast, and secure transaction for users, Abstract is built as Layer 2 on Ethereum, which means it inherits safety properties from the world's most decentralized blockchain. Contributors. The Abstract contributors consist of people who launched or helped build Pudgy Penguins, Ethereum Frame, and Kubernetes. Participate. To participate in Abstract early, we're introducing a unique social mechanism for our Discord and Telegram. We will randomly level people up who quote retweet the first post of this thread in our Discord. Yeah, I don't really want to join another Discord or a Telegram. How can we avoid that aspect? Additionally, stay up to date in our Abstract announcements Telegram here. This is the last tweet in the thread. Bada, 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 bada. Okay, cool. So Abstract cooking, just, the whole space. Kind of nuts. Now, the Igloo company mentioned in Abstract, and again, the parent company of Pudgy Penguins, raises over $11 million round led by Founders Fund to develop Abstract Chain. So I don't know what to make of this, to be totally truthful with you. We've had some crazy raises. Most of them I feel like are $20 million plus. Is this a sign that the market is not in a good spot from like a investing standpoint? Like if you're a VC, does this mean that, maybe they don't need a whole bunch of money and this shouldn't be looked at? Is Founders Fund really a big name? I don't know the ins and outs from that. You might be more aware, but I was just kind of taken aback of like, hey, Pudgy Penguins, Igloo, this Abstract thing seems like it's very, very important. To only get $11 million for it raised, it seems kind of small. But of course, I haven't done my due diligence if there's been other stuff previously. So if I'm wrong with that, apologies, but just thought that was interesting to see. Now, again, the chains, the growth, all of that kind of stuff. Jiho is sharing a chart again here for what's going on within Ronin. 1.5 million daily active addresses, which was the peak, which is kind of absolutely insane. Some other statistics if you're wanting to look on that, but they've onboarded 12 plus game studios as well. These chains are cooking. Beginning with a thought saying the market just doesn't believe that there's any correlation between NFT collection prices and whatever the parent company is cooking. There's a glaring obvious disconnect here as lots of cool things are being built on, but it's not moving the needle at all for community sentiment. Well, I mean, the question, and again, as somebody who's heavily in Futureverse, okay, so we have these ASM brains. How are they going to interact with these different experiences? Well, we just saw for the bosses, which are one of the characters, that there is specific stadiums for them. Now, I need to reread that because that was kind of in the brief moment, but hey, if everybody's having to go through these stadiums, everybody's having users on that, you're driving traffic through it, if there is some kind of royalties, perks, et cetera, the future score bonuses on these things. The questions are always like, okay, so there's a lot of products, aspects, components that are getting out pushed to the public, but how does that go potentially back to the NFT holders? And in a lot of cases, that's not the case. And it's just the assumption of, hey, if Gary Vee is able to make VeeFriends this massive thing, well, damn, we got some of the earliest NFTs, right? So it's all about kind of narrative for that sake, but I do believe that within this 2024, 2025 timeline. Some of these NFTs are really going to show kind of their value of what's being built by the parent company, and excited to see that. 2 teams, thousands of players come hang this Saturday while we try some shiza that has never been done before. Project Dragon Event 1. Let's check the video.
Voyagers, welcome back to Otherside. This time we're headed for Metropolis, the vibrant, good vibes only home to Me-Bits on Otherside. Visitors usually take time to enjoy Sculpture Garden, check out the museum, get lost in Pixel Park, or duck into the many shops in the bustling downtown district. The overwhelming atmosphere can best be described as wag me, baby. Or at least, that's how it was in 2021. Unfortunately, you're catching us at a bad time. What the? See, it all started with Metropolis's favorite energy drink, brought to you by the friendly folks at Total Bit Systems. Their flagship product, BitFizz, is simply delightful. I've jugged 6 today, and I feel great. Something is a little off with the latest batch, though. 2 new flavors of BitFizz have the local populace embroiled in a psychotic tribalistic death match, with each faction staking a claim over the city. It's really awful. Look, Aqua BitFizz sucks! Team Orange, forever! Dominate Aqua! Orange, orange, orange! Ah!
What in the halibut did we just watch? My goodness. Okay, so I am trying to think of like the reaction to that. I feel like I am engaged off the rip because I know what Me-Bits are, and so I'm very intrigued by the whole Project Dragon, et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was a very positive tone that was exciting. When it switched to like the negative grudge, like Warzone type of thing, I don't know. I felt like it didn't have like that kind of like cool factor like when it changed, but I'm very excited to see what the gameplay is. The aspect that it's going to be thousands of players for this. Is this going to be like The Walking Dead in the city with a whole bunch of like other NFT IP that's a part of this? Very very interesting. This is happening again on the 27th. I'll probably stream it as well, so stay tuned for that. Going over to the ETH ETF news. Total of $1 billion in total volume. As we can see, Grayscale having the most comparatively, then BlackRock, and then Fidelity way down on the bottom, and Vesco in 21 shares, but $1 billion in inflow. And once again, let me show you one more time here. Absolutely nothing happening to the price of ETH. But of course, we wait and see what happens. Now, for anybody that hasn't seen, again, for the Fluff World Ags, you are able to stake for ooze, but one of the interesting components you might have overlooked in the moment, it says spend your ooze wisely. So if you are staking, you can redeem it for other NFTs, etc., or maybe hold it because want to spend that ooze wisely. You never know what's going to pop up. Okay, so we just looked at the Project Dragon a second ago and talking about all these different IPs and whatnot, and this was really cool where they took the 3D files of some different apes, and this is coming from a Dynasty here, and just showing what it looks like where you have like a character within a game. And if this is what the interoperability aspect, when we go in these metaverses, these gaming experiences, you can be the avatar that everybody knows you as in this metaverse, X socials, whatever else. I do think that it is very, very cool, and we are quickly approaching where that is mainstream. Yesterday, we highlighted Scottie Pippen randomly talking about crypto, NFTs, all that other stuff, and he's back at it again saying, I received thousands of messages about the secret project coming to the blockchain. Today, I'll send a private invite link to 50 more people who retweet this. Are you ready, guys? What the hell is going on with celebrities and whatnot? And is anything going on with Iggy Azalea and that mother token where she launched like a phone company and something? That, listen, I know there's not like a great watchability for the most part, generally speaking, on live streams, but I feel like we've captured some hilarious things. If you guys are wanting to go back and watch, of course, on YouTube, if you go over to the live stream, we've been doing things since January of this year and following the market It's been a blast. Okay, so VeeCon, Los Angeles, August 9th to 11th. If you haven't been aware, wanted to go and look at the speakers right quick. How many of these would you be like, damn, I would love to see these individuals in real life, even though I think it's just speaking sessions. I don't know if there's really meet and greets. It's kind of up to the individuals. Trying to go through the names uber quick here because I've not actually taken a look at them, but Clicks, Fortnite streamer, that's probably the only one so far that I'm like, yep, I recognize. That'd be kind of cool. Scanning again. Yo, Gary V's in there. Yup. Yo, Howie Mandel's in there. Hell yeah. Jerome Bettis for any NFL fans. Anybody else? Yeah, I'm not really noticing a lot of like names and I'm like, yeah. I feel like in the past years, I was very familiar with some of these different artists and names. It feels like some of these might be kind of behind the scenes of like important growth things where one of the members was a part of X. Yo, Shar is in there. Hell yeah, bro. But yeah, it seems that like the celebrity aspect is potentially a little bit more dwindling, where it's more people that are in very important roles for different collections, and that could be kind of spicy for it. Kind of like it. Anyway, that's it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for coming on through as per usual. If you guys are wanting to support the stream at all, on YouTube, it's like $2.99 a month if you want to do the tier 1 subscription, or if you happen to have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can get Twitch Prime for freebies. Mr. Bowmeister, Atari God Divide, Hitting the Toad, William. Appreciate you guys.